Yeah, I liked your wee quote yesterday as well.
That I
So,
will,
yes.
honestly, I absolutely am so obsessed with that. And I was laughing so much I had to pause it, and then I just rewound it again just to watch him saying it again, because his eyes are like doing that scary Al Pacino bulging thing, and he's like,
Yeah.
what are you, a fucking owl? And I was like, this is the best line. We can stop the film here. It's so good. So
Good morning, Vietnam! I love the smell of napalm in the morning.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
I feel the need for speed.
Roads? When we're going, we don't need roads.
Snakes. Why'd it have to be snakes?
I'm Spartacus!
I'm Batman. I'm the Father.
good morning.
Morning, how are you doing?
I didn't realise I'd signed up for 2 tickets to the gun show. Have you got short sleeves on?
Yeah, of course. Summertime.
I know, but I mean, summertime,
Yeah.
sideways rain summer.
Weather be damned.
You're like, I'm getting those tan lines.
Yeah. Well, see, for the past 6 weeks, I've been wearing shorts every day.
Nice.
Just because it's been a wee bit warmer, and even
Yeah.
see now, I'm wearing long trousers today, for the benefit of the tape.
Don't get the listener too excited. The thought of legs and arms out.
So yes, I've been trying to just wear, because I very rarely wear them for some reason. I only ever wear them on holiday, and of course it's these wee white pins in between, like a pair of trainers, and yeah. So it just looks bad basically. So yes, try and wear them a wee bit more. So it doesn't look so bad if I'm actually going away somewhere, which
Just go for it. Go for a spray tan.
just in my legs.
Yeah. Oh, honestly, like I think that's why I get mine tattooed, because then at least if people are looking at the tattoos, they're not noticing that like it's fucking Casper.
You'd like to think so. It's tattoo in a milky background. Yeah.
I know when they say that your skin is a blank canvas, they literally mean that in my case, because it's like whiter than white.
Yep. Well, I'm exactly the same, so it doesn't really, I can't make any sort of remark, because I'm pretty much same.
You're quite freckly as well, aren't you?
Yes, I do get freckly. Not as much as I used to for some reason. I used to get loads of freckles in my face and stuff, but it doesn't seem to happen as much now. Goes red and then sort of fades slightly over the course of about a week and a half, and then if you burn again, it actually looks quite nice, because you're burning over the top of something that's actually reasonably brown, so you do get a wee bit of colour.
It's that good old Irish skin tone.
So how was the car show? It looked really good, but how was it?
It was amazing. Like I've never been to one like that before. I've done it was like a classic car show, I think he took me to once before, but this was all specifically for Italian cars. So there was lots of Italians there, which was nice as well, because you saw a lot of like old men like doing proper Italian arguing with the hands, which was lovely. But there was obviously like Ferraris, Lamborghinis, there was the Mission Impossible car, which obviously I sent you, the little yellow Cinquecento, but it was lovely. And then we went into Hopetoun House for a wee bit as well, actually just to neb, because you could go in if you were with the car show, which was good. So it was a really, really nice day, and they were giving out prizes and all that sort of thing. So there were some really lovely cars, and actually as much as obviously the kind of fast sports cars are fun to watch, and obviously they were driving in and people were like filming them and like crowds gathering around, but I actually really like the old sort of classic cars that have like the mahogany dashboard and the big steering wheel and like a little cigarette holder and all that, because I just think there's like a lot of character to that, with his cars are obviously very streamlined now, and I like the kind of ones that look like they've had a wee bit of story behind them,
Yeah, it's always nice seeing a car from sort of previous decades, where at the time it was just the norm, because most of them look like that. That's the thing, when you look back in these cars and you see them, you think, oh, they look really unique and really different, but when you looked at them against every other car that was out on the road, there was a lot of similarities, a lot of very sort of same cars, but yeah, it's always nice to look at them. Some lovely motors out there. It's pretty good. Yeah, it must have been great having a wander around.
It was, and do you know, a lot of the owners were like, have a seat, like go in, sit, enjoy it. Like, they really wanted you to like enjoy their car that they would obviously taken the time to restore and all that sort of thing. So it was quite fun, because like obviously I don't sit in a driver's seat ever, so it was nice to actually be like, oh, I can just, like, there were so many of them, and I was like, I could see myself driving down the Amalfi Coast in this, and I would have driving gloves on and like a scarf in my hair and all this sort of thing. So yeah, it was a really cool day out. And actually, it didn't rain, which was the best thing because you were obviously very exposed in the grounds of that country.
Yeah.
So it was nice that it wasn't a bit chilly. But, I mean, come on, Scotland in June.
I like the fact it's a community as well. Like you've said, there's some sort of like, it's almost like a community atmosphere where they're, you know, come in, have a look, and they're not overly, obviously very precious about their cars, but they're not overly possessive about them. They're wanting people to enjoy them as well. Yeah.
Definitely not. I mean, and so many people were, it was actually really nice because I kind of floated around for a bit while Chris was sort of finishing up, like cleaning the car. And so many people were coming over to like Chris and asking questions and saying like, oh, this looks really good. What kind of paint is that? And what kind of upgrades have you done to it? So they all sort of help each other out. Yeah. And they recommend like suppliers or garages and stuff like that as well. And like, there's a WhatsApp group as well for everyone that's in this sort of alpha male car club. And I do think it is nice because there was like families there was older guys, as I say, there was like proper Italian men, as I say, standing having their, I felt like I was in a 5 is the perfect number. They're all like arguing and stuff like that. It was really cool. But
animated arguing.
Yeah, but I just thought this is like a really nice community where obviously, as I say, there's a lot of pride, but they genuinely want you to like enjoy what they've done as well. And it was really nice. There was a few like merch tents and stuff like that, and like the usual be like teas and coffees and stuff like that. So it was a really, really nice day out. And as I say, I got to go for a wee neb round Hopetoun House as well, which I think is still like in the hands of a family that obviously have had it for like centuries. And it's I think they filmed Outlander at it as well, because in fact it was, because there was lots of Americans and they had all written in the wee book at the end, like Outlander tour, and I've obviously never seen that. So, but they were obviously there for a reason to come and see maybe like where certain scenes had been staged or whatever. I mean, it's hugely impressive. Like they had like wedding space, obviously the house itself, like the wee sort of cafe bit as well, and obviously the grounds are absolutely massive. So, and the wee tour guides were lovely there as well. They just kind of are sort of dotted around the house, and as you go into each sort of like room or section, they just tell you like a story about a particular piece in the room or like a fresco or something like that. So it was a good wee day out.
That sounds brilliant. And obviously you did get reasonably decent weather as well, which obviously helped.
I think that's the thing with these car shows, I suppose, because obviously they have to be outside. It's like you are so you are so dependent on. I mean, if it'd been this weekend, for example, it would just been a complete washout, and you can't imagine people like wanting to go and sit in cars or look at cars when it's sort of raining like on you. So it was a great video out, and I don't know anything about cars, obviously, but it was just nice to see all the different colours and styles. And as soon as I saw that wee yellow Fiat 500, I was like, I have to tell John it's the Mission Impossible car.
Brilliant. No, that's really good. Yeah, I had a good chuckle when I saw that. That episode was excellent. It was really it was really good fun. Really brilliant. Yeah, that's smashing. It's nice to have these things going on, obviously, and obviously very nice of Chris to invite you to one of them as well.
I know, bestow that honour on me.
I take it you didn't embarrass him by saying anything like silly or anything like that?
No, I actually there was a young guy that was chatting to Chris for ages, and he came up and he was like, oh, are you sort of into cars as well? And I was like, oh no, I'm a passenger princess, like kind of joking. But we ended up having a great conversation about Formula One because I can talk about that.
Well, yeah, so. Absolutely, yeah. You didn't go, I like the ones that go broom broom or anything like that. It was
yeah, I like red. That's it.
Yeah. Well, when the red cars go fast, it's really good. Yeah. That's probably the level of my conversation, to be honest, of Formula One. Yeah, when they go really fast past you, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah,
as well. But no, it was a nice mix of ages as well. Actually, it's funny to see all like the really young boys who are obviously just starting to get into it and really want to obviously get these kind of fast cars and whatever. Right up to, as I say, the wee Italian old men who were in their suede loafers arguing about various things. So, but it was lovely. And yeah, as I say, I didn't embarrass them too much. I hope I did just float around, take some pictures, and try not to make eye contact in case somebody was like, "So, how many horsepower is your car?" And I'd be like, "Sorry, mate, I don't drive."
Yeah, that's the thing. If it's like a sort of a scene where they're welcoming to anybody, they're not going to be like snooty or horrible to anybody, then it's obviously really, really good. So yeah, that's excellent. That's what you want, really, isn't it? You know, you want to be welcomed into these things, even if you're just an occasional visitor, because when it gets into the technicals of any sort of subject, it can be quite difficult. I won't say boring, because it's not boring to the people who actually do it.
No, it's a passion for something.
Exactly, yeah. I mean, everybody has, like, well, most people have passions. Like, obviously, ours is more sedentary based passions. But yes.
Yes, all of my hobbies involve sitting down.
yeah. That has been commented on with me as well. So, oh, you're doing this now, right? Yeah. You're still sitting, are you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I might have moved seats, and I might have moved room in the house, but I'll still be stationary.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm looking out onto the garden here. We've got a wee sort of bird feeder thing in the garden. It's like it's a pole, and there's like a couple of hooks off it, and there's wee sort of bits on it. For like one just for birds feeding, one for like peanuts, and like these balls of whatever, I'm not quite sure what it is. It's like fat or something, and the birds. The idea is the birds come along and they peck at them, and they can all get into it. But the one that we had before, the seed one's fine, but the other one's just like a sort of metal cylinder. We've got a squirrel that comes along.
Oh, no way!
And basically wrecks the entire bird feeder by just it can get into them and just like
because they'll have claws, wouldn't they?
Yeah, basically take everything out of it, just like scrape everything out of this thing. So we got this other feeder, which is still the same cylinder, but it's got like a cage around it, and it's quite wide spaces. It's like spaces about that. So the idea behind that is small birds can go inside it and you actually use that as a perch, but larger birds and squirrels have more difficulty, because just the way that they attack these things is they cling onto them with their claws, and if it's because this thing is heavier, it swings about and stuff, so it's harder for them to actually get into.
It's like a Tom Cruise stunt.
I've got pictures of the squirrel hanging off at the side. Actually, look, it's really.
You should superimpose them onto the biplane.
Yeah, but the squirrel spent about a day trying to get into this thing, couldn't get into it, and it was just like, all over it and everything, and it couldn't get into it at all. And I thought, it's probably given up, but no, it came back the second day, and it was really, really getting into it. And I was obviously working, and I was looking out the window, and I could see this thing, and it was all over. It was hanging upside down, and then it was actually clinging onto it, and then it got its head inside the cage, and it was like totally into it, and it was like that for about an hour, and I was thinking, okay, it can't be feeding for that long. It got itself stuck. Its jaws, its mouth had opened too wide, and it was basically locked onto the sort of the inner sort of cage. And I went out, and this thing was squealing. And what do you do? I says, well, if I hit it, it's not going to do it any good, because it's not, its head is still attached. Do you wait until it obviously passes out, and then it'll maybe relax its mouth or something? Whatever, And I was thinking, well, no, even then, because it'll probably be locked. And I figured out that because it was still hanging, it was really difficult for it. It was still, so I basically got it off of the sort of pole and put it on the ground so that it could get a bit more purchase. And it was still there for ages, and the thing was tumbling about and all this, and I was trying to hold it with my foot and sort of putting a wee twig in to try, and eventually somehow it managed to get out, and then it went ba-joing away. And I've seen it for days. So
I was going to say, I don't think that's coming back.
No, I think it's probably learned its lesson, because all the stuff, most of the stuff is still there, and like just now there's I think it's a wee blue tit or something's actually sitting outside actually. And they seem to be the ones that's doing it. Even the crows from around here don't seem to bother with it, because it's more of a hassle for them, because they're swinging about and it's not easy. But yeah, the squirrel squealing away, and I was thinking along the lines of, I'm going to have to put this out of its misery, before too long, because it's obviously in great pain, And then, but I was thinking, we've just bought that cage thing, we'll ruin it. And I thought, I'm definitely going to hell here. This is terrible. Thinking in those sort of terms, not thinking in terms of the wildlife, thinking in terms of, wait a minute, spent 12
I
quid
just
on
paid
this.
money, yeah.
Yeah, I paid good money for this thing.
Welcome to middle class problems.
Yeah, I know. But
Maybe now in my head I've got that scene from The Inbetweeners where is it Neil has to punch the fish because it's like flopping around in the boats, and I've got images of you like punching a squirrel just to get it to stop.
oh yeah, the things that you keep yourself amused with when you're sitting in your wee home. Well, it's not even a home office; it's my wee room. This one here that I work from this desk as well as podding from it, you know. So yeah,
same.
But yeah, all good.
So sometimes it's the happy corner of the house, and other times it's the scary corner.
You go through the whole gamut of emotions with this place, yeah.
I don't know if you've seen the stuff that's come out of Netflix to Dumb this morning. Speaking of Netflix, but they have released their Frankenstein trailer, the full Guillermo del Toro, which I'm just like, chef kiss. I want this. Like, I cannot wait for that to come out. And the Wake Up Dead Man, which is the new Knives Out, which actually looks quite decent as well. So there's a few, I think there's some Stranger Things trailers and stuff that come out as well, but those were the two biggies that I was looking for. And I watched them this morning and I was like, no, do you know what? Both of these are going to be obviously like good fun with, what you call him, Daniel Craig and his accents as well, because I could just listen to him with doing that all day. But Frankenstein, I'm like, this is going to be good. This is going to be a monster movie in like the traditional sense, which I'm really looking forward to. Plus, that was also filmed in Edinburgh for a wee bit as well, which is good.
Of course, yeah, because of the oldie world setting and everything. Yeah, that's brilliant. Yeah, I got a hold of Dolce Vita Confidential, the Sean Levy book, so I haven't started it yet, but I will report back on that because I know it was obviously from your recommendation when you spoke about it. In such glowing terms.
I feel like you'll enjoy it. It'll make you want to go to Rome. Yeah.
Yeah, well, that is a place that I want to go back and see anyway. I want to go back to Rome and obviously do a wee bit more there. And the Cinecittà tour, I think, would be high on the list anyway. I want to do that because obviously last time there's so many things to do in Rome. That,
And that's a theme park now as well. There's also a theme park where you can go on like rides that are themed around like films that are like the Swords and Sandals films, that sort of thing. So I think it would be a cool thing to explore. Yeah.
Brilliant. Yeah, that's really good. Oh, good. Need to watch some more films though. Yeah, obviously.
I know. I feel like I've got a really TV heavy week coming up because I've got more review stuff to do. But I definitely will. The Netflix thing this morning has just spurred me into like, no, there's that cracking wee section where it is just 90-minute films that you can. That's why I find that like Korean films, so you can just sort of breeze through them. But I think that it's going to be a TV heavy week for me, but that's okay. That's allowed sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course it is. Oh, and I forgot to mention, I went back to see Mission Impossible.
Did you?
Reckoning again? Yes, I went with Leslie and my sister on.
What did they think?
They really enjoyed it and didn't think it really felt like a 3-hour film at all. So yes, and it zipped along. Like my sister had said to me, I've heard that the first sort of half hour really drags and it's not, when I've read stuff, and says doesn't at all. So you'll get a wee introduction and then you'll get thrown right into it. It might not be like total full on action, but it's really kind of tense and everything. And she was like, oh well, see. And she watched it, like, yep, you're right. It was like that. I says, of course I'm right. I'm the older brother.
Do you not listen to our podcast? Of course he's right.
Sake, yeah. I think she does actually listen to the podcast as well, so that's quite.
Oh well, shout out.
Nice. Yeah. I am carrying out a little experiment at the moment.
Okay.
I have been taking reviews from the site and running them through Notebook LM. Have you seen Notebook LM?
No,
it's a Google product that basically is a summarization tool. It's an AI tool. No, you must have seen it because remember the conversations that Simi generates the conversation.
Yeah.
So what you can do with that, you can actually feed in information to it, like text or whatever, but you can also just link to an article on a website. So what I've done is I've done maybe 5 or 6 of them based on Simi's review of Thunderbolts and your review of Sinners and Ballad of Wallace Island and a few other ones, like a couple of ones from the Glasgow Film Festival, and fed that into it. and got the conversation from that, which is about 7 or 8 minutes, these two people talking about it, you get name checked sometimes actually within the conversation as well, because they take all the information from the site. So it's not, they say this conversation is based on a review, from, based on the review of such and such, and they talk about it, and they say, well, the reviewer said this, and what do you think about that? And they have this conversation. So I've basically taken that, put it through Audacity, because it's a mono file, so you make it into a stereo file, add the wee Moviescramble intro bumper, and I've been putting them up onto YouTube. I'm converting them to video files, even though it's just completely audio. You can convert it to an MP4 file, sticking them onto YouTube and just seeing what the reaction, or if there is any reaction, rather than putting them on the main pod site, because it's obviously not us talking. And I couldn't think of a way to introduce that without actually starting up like a second channel, and you need to pay more for second channels and all that sort of stuff. And I didn't want to do that as a sort of separate podcast. But in the 6-7 minute conversations about the reviews of actually based, and I've been at pains to point out in the description of them that this is a conversation based on a review from the Moviescramble website. And saying the original review was written by, and obviously in most cases it's yourself. So I've been name checking it, so it's not just it's not like just completely generated from nothing. It's generated from something, and I'm trying to make sure the credit goes to whoever the credit's supposed to go to. Cool. So I've put them up on. They're on the.
I'll give it a listen.
They're on the YouTube site just now, so have a listen, see what you think, and I'll see how it goes, see if it actually gains any traction, if people actually listen to them. But I'm not going to put them up onto the main pod site, because it just kind of dilutes, because people are actually used to listening to what we're saying rather than our voices. But there are advances coming in that you can actually tailor the voices. I think you can get them to learn what the voices are. So if that actually comes to pass, there's a way of they can take sample text for person 1 and person 2 and actually merge it into it. But that notebook LM feature is not there yet. But it's scarily accurate. It sounds like two people talking because of the way that it's been generated, and there's pauses and there's and ums and all that in it as well, and it is scarily accurate.
Oh, that's weird. That is weird.
Oh, good. The next one for the 1995 is 7 and the Usual Suspects.
Oh, that's going to be so good. It's going to be so good, and I'm going to be so sad because I don't know if you saw the offshoots of, what do you call it, Cannes, some of the ceremonies, whatever, that were going on in the periphery. Obviously, Mr. Spacey was getting an award, a Lifetime Achievement Award at one of them, and there was a lot of backlash about that as well. So that'll be interesting to talk. I love both of those films so much. It absolutely galls me that we're going to have to acknowledge this fucking shitty behaviour. I don't know if you saw during the week as well that people are threatening to boycott the GFT. Did you see that?
Yes, I did. I read the statement that they had sent out. They're kind of it's a no-win situation for them, isn't it? You can understand why but it almost looks
they're a not-for-profit, so I feel like they probably can't align themselves with these particular organisations, probably due to some law somewhere that says that you can't. However, during the film festival, they obviously stopped stocking Coca-Cola products and stuff like that. So they have taken steps in other places, but every time it's funny because every time they're posting stuff now, on their Instagram or their Facebook about certain seasons that they're running, everyone's just writing under boycott the GFT, Free Palestine, all that sort of thing. And I do feel like the reason they've made that decision, not to justify on their behalf, but I do feel like they are a not-for-profit, and there's probably rules around what they can and can't align themselves with, and they've probably had to stick to these because they are a very left liberal organisation. They have taken steps in the past, obviously, to support, as I say, boycotting Coca-Cola products and stuff like that. They obviously run LGBT, film months and stuff like that, Black History Month. They're obviously very left liberal leading. So I'm sure that I am convinced it's come down to some sort of legislation somewhere that says you cannot align with X if you are a not-for-profit.
Yeah, a lot of it's got to do with their Cinema for All stance that they have. They're saying, you know, but having said that, they were very vocal in sort of supporting Ukraine against Russia, and there was somebody posted a comment.
They banned all the Russian films out the festival. Yeah.
So somebody mentioned that in one of the comments to that statement, saying, "So are you going to start showing Russian films again?" And it's actually a legitimate question, because if you take a stance on something but not on something else, then where does that
It's a bit like Eurovision, isn't it? Like, they whipped Russia out quickly enough, but are allowing, and obviously one of the main sponsors, which is that Moroccan oil hair, is an Israeli company as well. So they also said that this year, that if you were spotted in the audience or as a performer with a Palestinian flag, you were going to get huckled out. Like, you know, there's definitely rules for one and not for the other. But it's a shame in a way, because I feel like this is such a Glasgow institution, if you're, you know, if you're into cinema, and it's a shame that they've had to maybe come out and make such a statement, because it is ultimately probably going to hit them in the bank, which is where.
Oh, definitely, yes. It's, you know, like I said, it's a no-win situation for them. If they make a stance one way or the other, they say they are supporting it, then they're going to possibly incur issues with their corporate sponsorships and things like that, and the whole situation. I mean, it's ongoing today. I mean, there was another thing today about tanks bombing a Gaza aid station today, and we think 29 people have died and things like that. And it's just horrible. But having, you know, the way that it's being addressed, it's very polarizing. It really is. It's horrible. Yes, they should be coming out and making a statement, but they're a business. They have to run a business. They have to make sure, you know, and like you said, there's an awful lot of sponsorships and things like that roll around all of these, a lot of the arts that are regarded as being art washing. So, you know, and they work at quite tight margins in the GFTA. I think they don't have a lot of money. They've got a clientele that come back, go to lots of things for them, support the organisation, and obviously that's putting that in jeopardy. But I don't know where they could have gone with that. I've got no idea how I would have handled that if I was in that sort of situation. Very difficult. I know. But hiding behind corporate language to a certain extent and saying about, you know, we can't support this or that. And they deliberately didn't say what the names of the organisations were. They gave the acronyms of the organisations. I had to go and look them up. I didn't know who the organisations were.
So I knew the BDS one because I've seen that before with Barclays, but I didn't know what the other one was, so I'd have to go and Google that. And a few people said that in the comments as well. It's like, why are you hiding behind, put the full names of the organisations as well. And other people were commenting saying, oh, I gave you £50 for your 50th anniversary, because now they were looking for donations. Like, oh, I wish I could take that back. Like, it was quite a strong backlash. I was quite not shocked, because obviously people do feel very passionately about it, but obviously it probably will hit them in the bank. And that is the whole point of these, you know, boycotts and stuff like that, is if you don't give money, then it's a shame. It's my happy place in Glasgow, and it feels like it's suddenly become, I'm not saying it's not been political before, it obviously has been, with, as you say, like taking the Russian films out, not having Coca-Cola products. It's not an apolitical organisation, that's for sure, but it suddenly feels like it's become a very polarising place to mention, and that's a shame.
Oh, definitely, yes. And I don't see any way out of it for anybody who's involved in it. It is a particular shame, because it is a Glasgow institution, and you know, as I say, I wouldn't know how to fix it, so I can't give an opinion on it. Obviously, the genocide that's going on, and it has been spoken in terms of genocide. It's not, you know, that's a word that is used an awful lot, and I know Hamas are not exactly you know, a beacon of light.
A charity,
let's just put it in those terms. They are a terrorist organisation, but you know, Israel is acting as a terrorist organisation as well, in the way that they're carrying out actions against.
100%. I mean, I read a thing this week that said that, I mean, I don't know how legitimate it is or not. It was from a news source. I just can't remember where it was, but said that Netanyahu knew that October 7th was happening, allowed it to happen, because it then gave him the green light to go, okay, we can. So it's like sacrificing an amount of your own people almost like the end of Mission Impossible, where it was like pick a fucking town and blow it up just to make it look all even. And it was like, well, we'll sacrifice these people because this gives us the green light to go in and destroy, you know, the rest of the Palestinian people. And this nonsense that, oh, we're not targeting civilians, we're targeting Hamas. Like, was Hamas in the fucking maternity hospital? I don't think so. Do you know what I mean?
Well, they claim they were. Obviously, they were
hiding underneath it.
Just a lot of it just smacks off it. Well, the whole thing about it is obviously Israel, as they have now been described in the Mission Impossible films, is a nuclear power, even though they've denied that for a long time. But they are obviously not taking a nuclear option with Gaza because, one, it would probably blow back right across Israel, and two, they actually want the land. That's what it comes down to.
They want the seaside resort that Trump has described, basically.
Yes.
Interesting though, Macron, when he's not getting beaten up by his wife, has come out and said that he's willing to place economic sanctions on Israel. Like, he has used the word genocide in a speech, and I thought, oh fuck, France is suddenly grown a backbone. But I mean, it's too late now because you've been supplying them up until this point. You should have had the backbone, you know, years ago or whatever. But I thought that's interesting that the tide seems to be turning with, you know, obviously public figures and politicians. And I watched a video of quite prominent British actors, and it was like Chris O'Dowd, Andrea Riseborough, one of the Swahalas, I can't remember which one, but and they did the thing that the Swedes had already done, that I saw the Skarsgårds do, where they read out all the names of the dead children, and it took them like more than 24 hours to read out all of the names. I mean, it's shocking when you think about it like that, but I thought, oh no, good for these like actors that are putting themselves, you know, in a position where some people might not work with them again, and they're willing to just take that risk and go, no, actually, I want to be on the right side of things, and therefore I'm going to, you know, contribute to this obviously small thing of reading out the names, but nonetheless, like, it is seen as a huge career risk to come out and say, actually, I don't support what's going on there. I think it's a genocide.
Oh yeah, totally, and it's not going to get sorted anytime soon. Let's face it; it's going to be around for a long time, and it's an absolute horror show. It really is. Yeah. Nobody wins in this, especially when you've got, you know, like I say, countries are not backing. They're doing things too late. You know, I mean, even the UK has come out and sort of said, well, we can't, you know, we're not going to be dealing with Israel. But I mean, you're a wee bit late there, you know.
We didn't sell. Oh, it was like basically like he came out and said, oh no, we didn't sell. Like, you know, we didn't sell whole bombs or whole planes. And it's like, you basically sent it apart from the nuts and the screws, mate. Like, you know, all we had to do was assemble it. Like, what the fuck? You can't get out of it by saying we didn't supply the completed product. Like, that's an absolute fucking cop-out.
Yeah, right. So it's supplying the guns without the ammunition, isn't it? So if they're not going to be able to source ammunition anywhere.